Okay, so I was traveling last week with family. I was in it was wild because it was like we were in Jersey, that was in Philly, it was in Jersey, then it was in Philly again. It came back and then we were a couple of days and then we had to drive up to Minneapolis just to kind of take Sharon for her birthday and Destiny some stuff and everything. Take them to the Mall of America. We went there and kicked it in Minneapolis and stuff. So it was cool. It was cool. If I would have knew anybody that was out there, I think I would have reached out, but I didn't know if anybody was out there. So if any of y'all in that area, let me know. I'm always up for meeting and doing some stuff and kicking it with folks and everything. I know I think some folks like I'll do that and I'll message them like, hey, can let's go out, men, women, whatever. They look probably like, what is he trying? Oh, this is what I do. If I see you on Facebook and we buddies and we've been talking and stuff for years, I'm going to reach out if I know where you at. If I know where you at, and I'm all over the place, so I'm definitely like, yeah, we can sit down and chill and stuff and chop it up. So there was a couple of things I'm gonna talk about, and but oh, one of the things I found out, I don't know who saw it, but I didn't make a post about it, but I figure I can go to it now. Um, so as y'all know, my what I call animanga, the Extraordinary Messiah. We got it. I've been doing this year. I've been putting it in a bunch of film festivals and stuff, and so we put it in the New York Animation Film Awards. We put it in there, and so it it moved on from the semifinals to the finals. So I don't know. Let me see. Is this it? Yeah. So I don't know if it'll make it to the finals until September 5th. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. The thing about it is like, so I'm kind of excited, but then I'm like, this is a passive thing. I kind of put it out there just to see how it'll work and get some information and feedback on it and stuff. And so far things have been cool. I'm probably going to release it. It's about like 20 minutes or so. I'm probably going to release it fully next no, in like December or something. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about going around December, early January after I get it through all these film festival runs and see what we can get on it. So we're trying to see how to go. We already won one award for it for the DigiFest, and then we'll see how it goes with this one. So I got this email. It was wild because I got this email saying that it had made it to the finals. And it was funny because in the second email, well, the first, not the second, this would be the second. In the first email, it shows that I was in the semifinals, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And it says like on this one that if you don't hear back from them by the 21st, you didn't make it. So basically, it's like if you don't hear back from us, we kept it rolling. We went to somebody else, and I'm like, "Okay, that's cool. I like that. I don't mind that. I know they went to somebody else. It's all good." But the 21st came. I was like, "Oh man, must didn't happen." But then I got this email. When was it? The 22nd at 8:58. So so I was like, "Oh man, I guess I did. We did make it to the finals." So it's interesting. It's interesting. It's cool and everything. But again, this is kind of a passive thing. This isn't something where I'm just like, "Oh, it gotta happen." And this is a passive thing. I'm working on some other stuff that I'm really hoping to get done now. But this is passive, but it's still cool. It's still cool. It's still cool. So it is what it is. But we'll see how that go. And we'll see everything that was see if everything is rolling right. So what we doing? What we doing? So what I want to talk about, what I watched, so I made this post and it said, "Growing up black, you used to always pick the black guy in a video game," and it got me thinking. I was like, I didn't like most black characters. So before we get too far, I'm gonna talk about two recent things that made me think about this as well. Because at first I was just gonna let it rock, and then I was like, just let it go on and don't worry about it. But I was thinking I had watched uh Aliens Romulus, and it might be Alien, not Aliens, Alien. I mess up the title all the time. Romulus, and then let me see what I'm messing with. And then I watched um okay. Oh Lord, what did I do? No, no, no. We're not doing that. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no, no. We're not doing that right now. No, sirree. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I don't know what this thing is popping up and got a oh, it took away my personal one. Okay. Let me see something. Let me see something. Let me see. Oh, they got me. Wait, 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 wait. Let me see. Let me see. I gotta get it wouldn't let me to my it wouldn't let me share to my main thing. So what I'm going to do is share that. What we're gonna do is share that. Let's see. Hopefully I can get this right before okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. All right. So I watched Aliens Romulus, and then I watched that right there. And then I watched The Acolyte on the Star Wars Acolyte thing yesterday. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching, and I'm like, okay, I get what's being said and I understand, but so I'm gonna bounce around between the two of those, right? Like I'm gonna just kind of spit out what I thought from because I watched Romulus Monday, Tuesday, and that was cool. And then I watched the Acolyte mainly because I've seen so much back and forth, and I've always kind of like for me, I don't really care about Star Wars stories unless they have something to do with like specific Jedi and stuff like that, right? Like I don't care about them other folks. Even like I'm still waiting for Knights of the Old Republic game, not the Old Republic, just Knights of the Old Republic. That was on Xbox, and they keep talking about redoing it and stuff. My worry is that they're gonna mess it up like they are known to do. When all you got to do is just upgrade the graphics and do some other quality of life things and keep it moving. But I've I've that was one of my favorites just because you get to be you get to be the Jedi, and then you can play it a little bit different. I don't care to be uh um gunslinger person. No, no, no. I want Jedi stories. That's all I want. So I was like, I and after the Marvel stuff, what I started doing was like just gonna sit back and not watch it while it's going on. I'm not gonna watch it while it's going on because if you like there's a bunch of shilling and a bunch of tap dancing for these shows because people got their feelings mixed up in it. So if I talk about a specific episode, it's like, well, you can't say it's like you can't say anything about that because it's just the first, the second, third, fourth, fifth episode. It ain't even done yet. But I'm talking about what it is up to the point. And so when I watched the Acolyte, it was weird. It was weird. Like I didn't. I watched it, and me personally, I didn't see what made it. For I'm gonna get this right, right? Like, first off, it was stupid. Not everything about it, but it was dumb. They made like a bunch of dumb decisions. But I was watching it, and I was like, okay. I mean, okay, this is cool. This is all right. But I thought they made so many dumb decisions. I was like, yo, what is going on here? This is stupid. Like, this is dumb. This is really dumb. And there was so many things that I was just like, this is just this doesn't make sense. But I watched it, and when I was watching, I'm like, okay, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's like, what? But like, why? I don't feel like it was the worst, but I'm also like, why? And this is something that I've been looking at recently with a lot of stuff that has been going on as far as like shows and stuff like that, and even whether it's men or men, women, whatever, and you can call it whatever. Y'all probably go. I know a lot of the old sensitive motherfuckers that get on here and be like, "Well, you just say it's a woman." Yeah, whatever. I just hate them. Then it's whatever. That's what they always say. They always, you hate women if you okay. Well, why ain't it? Why do you say this about? I say it about everybody. No, you just. Oh God. Okay. And even with Aliens Romulus, like I love. No, I didn't. I didn't love it. I thought the movie was cool for what it was, and Nate's and it was cool because they spent like I think they said they spent like 80 million on it, and then that they made like 42 million I think over the weekend. So it was pretty cool. I think it was deserving of that. Is it the greatest thing ever? No, but I think that the movie was solid for what it was, and my favorite character was Andy. And this is what we talking about right here. This playing the black guy, and my response to it is basically, let me see. I had to leave my response right there so y'all can read it. And it's a thing where it's like I didn't like, and so I'm gonna be talking about Romulus, some other stuff, and just kind of smashing everything, Acolyte, and just kind of smashing everything together, just running my mouth, especially since I did Monday last week, and so I'm back on my regular day. So start everything off. This is saying that growing up black, you picked a black character, and I didn't. Like, like I when I seen this, I didn't like Jax. I remember it was this one. I can't remember if he was. I think it was a Korean dude that used to play the arcade we used to go to, and he used to play with Jax, and he was a beast with Jax. I remember it. He would just stay there all day, arcade days, and just run through people with Jax. And even then, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I still hate Jax. Like I thought Jax was garbage. I thought his story wasn't relatable or anything. And I also put down some notes. So if you see me looking, I'm looking at some of my notes that I wanted to make sure I hit because it's like we don't get authentic personalities and motivations with a lot of these black characters, especially like the ones that they're showing here. They just had a black skin on them. We could have completely, they could have been, they could have thrown anything on them. I hate it. Jax was just a generic black dude that was running around after Sonya, and I felt like he was kissing Sonya's ass most of the time anyway. It was just whatever Sonya gonna do, I'm gonna do. If it's gonna get us killed, I'm gonna be behind Sonya. I'm like, ugh, yeah. Balrog, I didn't like Balrog, and not necessarily. No, when I was young, I didn't like it. I didn't like Balrog until Street Fighter 4. Like he had moves. Well, like in 2 and 3, you could hold down all the three punch buttons or the kick buttons, and he had that, and he had the straight that would knock a lot of energy off of folks, and I like that here and there. But at the time, me, I'm not talking about across the board. I'm just talking about me, cause I no. It wasn't working. It wasn't working. I'm holding the button. I'm doing this. This Negro can't kick. He can't do nothing. Like God, and I just didn't like Balrog until 4 and 5 came out. I was like, oh, I love me some Balrog, and I still don't like his story. His story was basically just I'm an angry Negro. I beat up people. I'm wild. I don't know how to control myself. You got some money? Like that. That's it. And I was like, man, come on, man. This what the story the black dude gonna have? Okay. He just fighting just all right. All right. All right, don't like it. Skate, and I've always called him Skates, and y'all have corrected me and said it's Skate, but I'm calling him Skates. I'm calling him Skates. Fuck what y'all say. And I don't care if I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. I don't care. I didn't care for him because his play style, not necessarily because he was black. It was like I seen the black kid, and I was like, I don't like his play style. It was just because I didn't like that little jumping around, zooming around the screen stuff. No, I want to beat folks up and really, ow, for doing these lifts. I think I'm injuring my back. Ooh. Anyway, um, and I just didn't like his play style. It wasn't necessarily, oh, he's black, so I'm gonna just bypass him. I play with him, and I was like, nah, I need a little bit more balanced or a more in your face style character. And so it was a thing where I didn't rock with Skate too much. I didn't really deal with him much. So it was like, okay. And then but all of their stories, none of them, and even last dude, what was his name? Adam or whatever? I forgot his name. Y'all got in the comments. I didn't even care for him. I was just like, okay, whatever. And my thing and growing up, it was like if there was a black character, except for like Storm in like the Marvel games. But again, I didn't like Storm because I didn't fully get down with her play style. It didn't have nothing to do with it. It was just her play style. And so it was a thing where I don't feel like any of these characters had any type of personality. They didn't have no well-developed backstories. Uh, None of that. And 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 I say that because there's a lot of even in the indie space, there's a lot of this, hey, they black. Hey, I got these black characters. And even and I'm gonna be honest, even I played it sometimes. It was like, but then when I started really looking at it, and then I read the stuff, and then I'm not I'm not making no kind of real connection to and this is something that I talk about so much. And I think about it's like it's like there was no it's just I'm black. You should support it's like support me because I got black this and this black and we doing this black. But it's like, is it good? Do people really want to rock with this? So if I'm just picking a black character because they black, that's surface level relatability. There's no kind of real depth to this character other than they black, and then that's what we come across. And I'm like, I was even looking at it with my stuff to where it's like, okay, is this character, is there any character depth to this guy? Or is it just that I'm pushing off of the whole black thing? And it'll work. It'll work for a while. But then even the people that are coming and marketing can help you really even push through even more. If the characters ain't good, you're gonna do all this stuff, and then when you get to it, nobody ain't gonna care. And one of the things that I've really been thinking about it in comparison is because all this stuff that go on now in society, it tells you so much about, well, we got to have representation. We got a black person, then we got to have a white person, then we got to have this person over here, then we got to have this person, then they got to have this one person with one arm this way, and then another person, they got to be represented. And I'm like, that's all well and good. But when I look at these characters and I listen to them and I watch their stories, I don't like them. Even the black ones, I don't like them. I'm like, yo, man, I don't care about this skin change that y'all doing. I don't care. The characters aren't good. And so I've been really thinking about and going over storytelling for myself because I'm like, okay, I got to improve this stuff. I got to improve my own characters. I got to really step into another uh level with this stuff. And that's just for me. And so I'm thinking about characters um and a couple of people have told me about this like my man Ruben, Greg, a couple other people have told me it's like just look at the characters that you grew up looking at. My man Tyler, Michael, my guy Michael, my man Zach. We've all I've been talking to a bunch of people about this, and one of the things that really stood out was like look at the characters that you like and that you've grown up with. And it's like I'm looking at these characters that I've grown up with. So black folks, we get played with the oh man, it's a black person, it's a black skin, and this and that and there's black character, there's black representation, but you don't care about the character and there's no depth to the character. But then I can think back to even to this point. I'll go watch, like, I want to see the new, I don't remember the name. I want to watch the new Transformer movie that's coming out, where they got Megatron and Optimus before they become what they what we know them as. And I want to see it. And and when I think about it, like, I connected to a daggone robot truck. How, like I've never seen, from Megatron to Optimus and stuff. I never saw no skin color, anything. And and to be honest, I didn't even really think, oh, they black. Even with like the Ninja Turtles, I always knew the Ninja Turtles was, so they. I always felt like the Ninja Turtles were East Coast surfers from the West Coast. Now people are talking about they coded black and all this other stuff, and no, that when they first came out, they talk like surfer white dudes. I don't. This is some new stuff. This some back to that representation stuff. That's what that is. They were never this new stuff. They were never that. They were always like like those dudes that were surfers. Like they talk like California surfer guys. And I grew up in Southern California, so I heard dudes talk like that all the time. And so there was never a black thing. But I'll go, but Transformers, like Transformers, stuff like that. I didn't really care if the character was black. Like, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, so when I was growing up, these vehicles, these robots, these anthropomorphic characters, I didn't care if they were black. I cared about their story. I cared about things that they were going through and stuff. And this and I cared about how they overcame adversity. Like with Rodimus, like Rodimus Prime and stuff. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at him as a child. The stuff happened. Optimus died, and it still hurt me to this day when Optimus died in the old movie. And looking at, and then Rodimus is trying to figure out how he's gonna get through everything. And I feel him, but I'm still not fully on with him. And he makes it, but I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'm still hurt by Optimus. And it's a thing where it's like it's a daggone robot. And I feel more connection to him than any of these black characters on the screen right now. Um, Another one is like I always go back to it. It's like Guts from Berserk. I I don't care if Guts is black. I'd like, and I don't want him to be black. I don't want Guts to be black. I don't want him to be black. I want I like, now that I'm thinking about it, like going back to even like the Marvel stuff, right? Like I don't. I watched. I watched Captain America and all these other people come up through and do things that made me connect with Captain America or Iron Man and stuff. I watched them go through these where they overcome these adversities that they were put in terrible situations and you got to figure out which way you gonna go. I watched them do that. I watched them do it. Like as a child, from reading Iron Man books here and there, because it was never, and Captain America, it was always here and there for them. Like it was never full on, but it was always here and there. Then watching like cartoons and stuff, and Iron Man and stuff, and it was always like I seen the adversity Tony going through. Then he is like, "Oh man, I'm having a hard time with this." Then I start drinking. Then it's this and that. Then it's my back is messed up. My dad's messed up. And it's like I'm watching this guy go through all these things, and that's what made me like him. I don't like Falcon like, or I watch Captain America go through the stuff with the war. We know he froze over. We know he get out. We know he did these. We know he did all these things. I don't like. I don't like Falcon just because he pick up the shield and I'm supposed to like him because he's black. Oh, he through none of the stuff that the other guy went through. And I understand that somebody goes through something for another person, but if I can't watch this person and be like, man, they went through these same type of struggles that I can relate to them as in this position. If they ain't went through those struggles and I haven't watched them do it, then no, I don't care about them just because they black. And I'm not gonna just root for them because they're black. That was the thing about, like, in comparison to like um with Black Panther. It was like we got to see what he was going through. We got to see what he was in the first part. We got to see him go through these things and he find out solutions for himself. Sam was just there. I was like, again. gonna watch the movie. That might be the last. That might be the last one I watch. It might be as far as like going to the movie theater to watch it. I watch it when I go home. It's like, I mean, when it comes out to streaming. And for me, it was like Sam is just there. He didn't. It, my man didn't do anything. It was like, hey, I was his buddy. I did a few things. I was flying around. Ant Man beat me up. It's just like you didn't go through what this person went through, and we didn't find we didn't get to see you go through that thing. And so you'll have it and you'll go through the thing later. But it's like, but we get these characters and we're supposed to just, what is it? Let me see. Where you at? Okay. We supposed to just pick them and be fine with them being black. And it's like, no, I don't feel like I don't feel like that's what it is. And there's no cultural context to anything. It's like, it's not like, because a lot of black people aren't making him. So it's not like we make this black character and they're going to be, and that's part of the reason why Black Panther stood out. He had some type of connection to some sort of blackness, even it was in Africa and stuff like that. They put him culturally relevant to where he had a connection to the blackness which was going on, and even Killmonger. Why those two, to me, this is just me, and why they went over so well. These characters right here, they just black. They just put a spin on them, and then it's like, hey, you should play with them. And I'm supposed to be like, yeah, I like these characters because I'm black, they black. I don't get no coming of age story. I don't get to see you go through. And I think that's what made Blade so interesting too. Is that we got to see Wesley come in and we got to see the struggles that Blade went through. He wasn't a side character. He had his own struggle. He didn't have a connection to this other one. He had his own struggles. And I think that was the thing with Black Panther too. The guy had his own struggles that he had to overcome, that Blade had to overcome. These characters ain't overcoming nothing and they just kind of there and then they doing some here and there stuff and it's like, hey, you get this mantle from this person. It's like, oh, okay. And later on they have to do it kind of like with Miles and stuff on the show, but most people aren't really buying his books. They just figure they wait until uh they turn it into animation. And I've heard that before too. Um and I feel like that was something that I really had did with the Extraordinary Messiah, and I think that's part of why the animation is doing so well too. Also, if you have not, you can go and download the first Void Beast and the Extraordinary Messiah book. Go to akachicomics.com. I got it right there where you can get both of them for free right now. The first chapters, then the first chapter of Void Beast is like 100 pages, but uh Extraordinary Messiah is like be around 100 something too. And I feel like the Extraordinary Messiah was one of the ones that I really was really able to get that across. That it's okay. This is a black dude, but he's doing more for his community and stuff. And that's something that I've been working on. And my next one, the dude is gonna be an alien, but he gonna look black. So so that's not important. That's not really the skin color thing ain't really important. It's just that does this character connect? Because most of the characters, and I know people say, well, that's what we was forced to look at, but I don't care. I don't care. There's people that like Spawn. I know some country ass folks, white dudes and stuff that love Spawn, and they know he black, but they just connect with who the character is. They connect with this character story. They connect with how he's overcome the adversity that he's went through, whether it's getting shot, dying, then people running up on him and his wife. Then he had to fight for other people. It's like people respect that, and seeing him overcome it himself and not be some kind of background character, then popping out and doing stuff. It matters, and so I don't. I'm not personally down with the hey, let's just rock with it because this character is black. And even you, like you can think of a bunch of characters that you connect with and they ain't black. Like one of my favorite games is Final Fantasy VI. And I've been playing it. I'm about to stream it. And like that is one of my absolute favorite games. And every character on there, like I know that they're white or something else, but or Japanese or whatever, right? And I've never cared about any of that. I've never sit there and man, they should have been black. Like I never have. And even in my 40s now, I still don't think about it. I don't think about it. I want characters that I can connect to, and I can connect to all of them because I understand why they're going after Kefka and why they're doing what they're doing. Because Kefka did something to all of them that just ruined them, just ruined all of them. And I'm like, man, this dude is trifling. And maybe some of y'all might pop up and be like, oh, well, he actually black, and that's fine. But I didn't see none of them as black like that. And then even Final Fantasy 4, 4 with Gomez and all of them and Cecil and everything. I think was that Gomez? I believe. Yeah, yeah. I think so. With Cecil and all them. I like Cecil, I like Kane, I like the Dragoon guy. I forgot his name. And like I like these and shoot, those were just 16-bit characters and stuff. I couldn't even see their face besides the art. And I believe I'm getting one of forget his name. Order one of this is my first art book that I've got, and I can't wait for it to get here for the guy that did like Final Fantasy arts and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, can't draw like you, but I'm a study. This is one of my first art books that I've bought, so I'm ready. I'm ready to see that. I'm ready to see that. And so going to like with the so I'll start with aliens. Like with aliens, um, the gist of it is homegirl. I forgot her name. I don't even remember Andy's name actually. The android. I remember his name because he was the only one that I really cared about. That I really cared about watching it. And that's another thing. Most of the black characters, we don't care. I don't care about watching none of them and stuff because like most of them, there's no adversity that they're getting put through. A lot of them, there's none that they're being put through. They just pop up and they there. And I'm like again, these ones, like Jack, it's like Jack's got his arms torn off. And I felt like, yo, my nigga, that was dumb. Like you keep doing all this stuff running behind this woman. Yo, I know she's supposed to be your partner, but she making some dumb decisions. Leave her alone. Like God, Jesus Christ. So even when he put, and this is me again, this is me. This ain't saying that that's what it is. But I'm like, yo, man, this dude. I don't care if they took his whole body in half. And that nigga was running around in a wheelchair. I don't care because there was nothing. If something, there was nothing that made me be like, oh, I gotta connect. I connected to Scorpion's story. I connected to Sub Zero story. Felt like Kung Lao was like, hey, I'm one of the better ones, but I ain't getting no kind of shine the way I should. I'm a little cocky, but I'm not getting the shine the way I should. So I understood their stories. I even understood who Cyrax, and like even now, like this is a little goofy. Now, skin change, all that stuff. Boy, acting stupid because Cyrax, what is it? I believe it's Cyrax is a black woman in the new one. It's like you guys are idiots. Cyrax was always a black character. From what I remember, they always made Cyrax a black character. It was just that his face wasn't shown on 3 and stuff, and he was mainly in the robot form. But then in the other games, what was it, the 3D one or whatever? Was it 4 or the one after that? Can't remember. They showed his face, and it was a black dude, and it was he was a black dude, and so I was like, okay, Cyrax is black. I still don't like him, but I like and my hate for Cyrax probably came from like 3, and people were just playing and just womping him. So I didn't like him, but I understood where he came from. And when I say I didn't like him, it was more or less I didn't care for him. It wasn't that I didn't like because I liked his character and what they went through being loyal to their clan and then getting turned. It was like okay, that was cool. I thought that was cool. I never problem with that, but I didn't play with him. So when I say I didn't like him, I just didn't play with him. I thought that was really cool. But people are barking about because she a woman now. I'm like, okay, so they went through this whole universal thing, and I really think this whole multiverse and time traveling stuff. this is just an excuse for people to kind of shuffle up what they doing because they don't got the guts to just be like, hey, we're gonna change it up and this is what it is. And then even when they do, they don't do it right. So it is what it is. On Aliens, Homegirl was getting played on Romulus. She was like on Aliens Romulus. She was getting played. She didn't. She did her time. Then they bumped up her time. Wayland Yutani, the group, the business, whatever, bumped up her time and made her do more. She was basically her and her friends were like, look, we ain't gonna die on these mines. We need to get up here and help. We need to get up here, find this ship. They should have enough time stasis for us to get to another planet that has better air and everything. We gonna do that. So I liked the fact that none of them were like soldiers. So while I'm watching, is getting established, and that's what I'm looking at, like storytelling wise for myself. So I'm like, okay, I got to start doing some more establishing and making sure I'm hitting these points and setting up everything along the way. Um, and I'm making this, and I'm also doing talking this just for myself too. So it's for me to kind of regurgitate what's going on. So and it helps. And so I'm like, okay, they're establishing everything for why she would do. They're establishing why Andy is the way he is. He an android. He's set up to have to whatever happen to her parents. His main function is to look out for her and make everything and make sure everything is good for her and stuff. And so the group is like, we need you to come because you have this android that can get into this system and stuff. And so I liked the story, and I felt like her character was fine, but she was just there. Um, it was whatever, but I felt like it was so much going on in them aliens movies. Like it's this thing where it's like, okay, this happened, now something else gonna happen. This happened, now something else is gonna happen. And I felt like everybody was making dumb decisions, just stupid decisions. But the only thing that made it make sense for me was because they were kids. They were all kids, and they weren't like trained soldiers or anything like that. They were just trying to get off that planet, get to another. So when I was looking at it, that was what I was explaining to myself about the movie for us, even some of the dumb stuff. Like my reason going back to movies, black characters and stuff. I looked at Andy, and when I first seen him, I was like, okay, he looked kind of simple. But I was like, just give it time. And when I'm watching and I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, here, Android. Okay, okay. This is why he act like that. He's supposed to be like a big brother, like a family member to her, and this is what he's programmed to do. But even then, it was like Andy was the only one that was making smart decisions to me. And so they get there, they go through some stuff. One of the guys don't like Andy because he's a droid, and help a droid did not help his family because if in one of the mines, it let three people. I think it let three people die to save 12 people, and he was bothered. And so, and you know what? You know what was weird? You know what was weird? Like about this movie, what I didn't get. Why in the world is Wayland Utani? This is future. They got all this stuff. They got all this technology and everything. Why? Why? Why is Wayland Utani doing people like that? Got them in these mines, doing all this stuff. When you have all these damn droids, it doesn't make sense. Like that part, I was like, this doesn't make sense. You have all of these droids. You have all this technology. You just make a bunch of droids and put them in these mines to do the work for you. They don't get tired. They don't. They mess up. You can fix them up. You got these advanced droids that move, act, and can even pass off as humans and do all this stuff. But you got humans in the mines, and you playing game like what? Like, am I the only one that thought that? Like, I'm not seeing nobody talk about it. There could have been a bunch of Andys, and then the other dude that was in the space station. There could have been a bunch of them just doing stuff. You get all this money, just travel space, be out there searching for alien creatures and testing. You got all this. You didn't just make a bunch of androids to go do this stuff for you, so you don't have to deal with humans, and they don't get tired of none of that. Andy was opening doors and holding doors open and stuff. he was holding the elevator thing. No, 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 none of these people are so smart at Wayland Utani that they didn't think to be like, yo, we gonna have these androids do all this. Nobody. So that didn't take that's just me thinking about it. That doesn't take away from the movie. Like, this is just me like, yo, that doesn't make sense. But so they get on there, they run into some issues, some face hugger. They need to they need to rate these movies X or something, because this is getting real damn freaky with these face huggers, man. It's like, man, this is, and maybe it's just the old filthy man in me. But I'm like, yo, man, like these things are just, and then it's like, I didn't even know that they impregnating people. So it's like, is it just me? Is it just me being filthy person that I deviant that I am? Maybe it's just me. I'm like, yo, man, this is wild. They just just tear people up. Just all in. I was like, wow, this okay, okay. Y'all just going to. Maybe it's just me. Um. Uh. And I'm just like, so the girl gets caught. She gets messed up. Face hugger gets her. They find a half jacked up droid. He telling them what to do. Blah blah blah. blah. They take out my back. Ugh, I need my back scratcher because I know it's like a pinch in my back, but it don't matter. I gotta scratch it. um. The face hugger gets her to help out with everything to get through one of their little key systems. Um, they take the chip from one of the busted droids and put it into Andy. And I was like, I liked Andy both ways because he basically kind of took on the role as one of the Utani droids, and it was like, hey, he's going to do whatever is good for the company. But I liked him there too because he was like, he stood up better. He had a little bit more authority in his voice, and I was like, I'm with Andy until he get to start talking about the company stuff. After that, I'm like, no, I'll play. I can't. I'm with you on everything else, but once you start talking about for the company, nah, we ain't doing that player. But I don't again. He did all of these things, and I was like, okay. And one of the things that I really like, really stood behind with him was there was a part where they were trying to get one of the people, and some stuff was going on, and they found out that this person was in a certain situation, and the brother found out some stuff. And so, but the alien is after this particular character. And the wild thing is like the alien is right there. Like you see me, the alien is right here. Like in my doorway. Like my doorway opened up, and the alien is standing right there. Like if my little daughter opened up the door and she's standing there, and then you're right here. You're where you're at, right? And said, open the door, open the door, open the door. And Andy is like, nah, is waiting for us to do it. And you see it back here. You see it right there in the doorway, and you on the other side, like, oh, from that, we gotta you see, you see it right there. And you talking about you gotta open the door? Andy was like, no, it's gonna kill the rest of us. And she's homegirl that owned Andy slapped him and everything, when she get when another person get taken away and everything. And I'm like, really? Like, you see it right there. That's like if you open your door and a bear or a wild mountain lion standing right in front of your door, and he already angry. He mad. This thing is mad. The mountain lion is mad, and you just like, you know what? I'm gonna open the door for these. I'm not opening the door. I'm sorry. It's like, mm-mm, I'm not opening the door. Even if it's something like, listen, we better figure out something, because if there's more of us in here than out there, no. I was with Andy, and even my oldest daughter, she was whatever with Andy, and so I knew where they were going to go in the film. Like I knew where they were going to go. And that's the cool thing about like studying film and stuff. And I see why a lot of y'all say study film and understand what the themes, the process, understanding where storytelling is going, how things are being set up. And I was like, okay, I know where they're going to go, but how are they going to get there? And are they going to get rid of Andy? And so when they took out the chip, I was like, okay, that's cool. But Andy was still, he was still, he was still cool because he was still trying to figure out how to help and do for everybody. And I was like, okay, this character is still cool. And again, the main girl, I thought she was fine, but I have an issue that I'm gonna get to in a little bit. I have an issue that I'm gonna get to after I talk about the acolyte stuff. And I didn't like Andy because he was black. Because at first I was gonna be like, oh God, another like wink, another weak, sensitive, limp wristed black dude, and not, and I ain't talking about gay and nothing like that. Just weak, just okay, help you. But I felt like Andy wasn't that. I felt like Andy was not that character, and he did such a good. The actor did such a good job of playing both. I was like, oh man, this dude had to play two roles, and he is doing good at both. And I appreciated the default Andy when I seen the Wayland Yutani Andy. Thought that was cool. So I was like, okay, this dude is acting. Like he's playing two completely different characters and switching between them, and he's doing a good job. So I thought that was really good. And again, the main character girl, I don't remember her name. I should have looked it up, and I didn't feel like looking it up. So we just gonna rock with main character. Thought she was cool, but it was something that I was like, something didn't happen the whole film with her. And I don't know why they do these things, but I'm gonna come back to it. So again, this black character, Andy went through things that made me like him. Not because he was black, but because I related to his story and him overcoming his struggles. Cause it's like, okay, how do I be helpful to, and there was other stuff that I'm not going to talk about. So I'm not going to talk about that. I don't want to be like, oh, this happened because I feel like it's kind of important. And Andy is like, okay, so I'm a droid. I'm supposed to do these things, but I don't want to let these other people get hurt. Then I'm noticing I have different directives too, and I want to make sure that I'm still doing for them, but I have to override this. And this droid is going through all these back and forths with his journey, and ultimately it's still like I'm gonna do what's right, but also I'm gonna do what's right for everybody. And it ultimately I believe that's what he came to. And he was always there. He was always there to like help people when he could, and I like that because he's going through these struggles and he's trying to figure it out. He's getting knocked down, messing up his stuff, and he get back up and he got to figure out how to help folks and stuff. And it was like felt like he went through. I feel like Andy went through more of an emotional struggle than anybody else, which made me connect to him more than the rest of the characters. And they explained with stuff with some of the other people and why they were doing certain things and stuff, like with the guy that didn't like Andy, that was basically just barking at him because he was an idiot, but he was also an idiot. Like I said, he was an idiot that was just doing dumb stuff in general. So Andy wasn't the problem with that. And so they had, and Andy had a much, felt like Andy's connection to the world was a little bit more solid. Also because the things he was doing. He was the android that could get through the doors. He could hold open doors. He had, because of being a Wayland Yutani robot, he could, they give him the right chips, he can get clearance to do certain things. So he felt a little bit closer to everything that was going on in the world. And and with a lot of black characters, we don't get that. We don't get that. And I'm not gonna do just again, not because somebody is a black, I'm a rock with it. So the next one was the Acolyte. And like, again, like I said earlier, the Acolyte was stupid. Not over mm, it was stupid, but it wasn't, I don't feel like it was as, I don't personally feel like it was as bad as people tried to make it, but it was just they made a lot of dumb decisions, like the writers and stuff. They made a lot of dumb decisions, and the actors just had to do what they could with the trash. First off, um, fight some of the fight scenes were cool, but watching some of the people do some of the stuff, it was like, oh, this could be better. But even then, it's like I understand people still, hey, we only got time. We do what we got to do. We keep it moving, right? But um, I'm gonna say I feel like after watching the Acolyte, I really feel like something is with these Star Wars folks and these black characters. Like it's cool to have black characters and stuff, but yo, man, if they garbage and because I like the actress and I like the idea of the characters, but Osha and May were were dumb. Like not the character was like, oh, I don't know what was going on. I didn't. Osha didn't have no like when you're watching. Okay, I'm everything is hitting me at once. So while I'm watching, first off, the good part was I like the Jedi stuff, and I like the Jedi bad thing because even growing up, I felt like the Jedi were bad. Like I watched the old movies when like in the late I was a child, like in the 80s and stuff. They were cool to watch and they were cool to see, but I didn't believe the Jedi, right? I didn't care for it. Then the newer movies came out with Anakin and stuff like that. And I was like, these Jedi is full of shit. Like, no, this just so this whole approach of like, oh, the Jedi's are bad, this and that. I agree. They ain't nothing but some daggone space police, and they doing whatever they can to cover up the BS that they do. Like, no, man, I can't. No. Ugh. Then some of the Sith are just stupid too. It's like you guys are just dumb. You're just doing stuff, and you look cool, but you're just doing mess. Like, so so I like the actress. I like a lot of the actors that they picked. Like some of the world stuff that we saw. Um, I liked the stranger guy. I liked him. But he did some dumb stuff too. Uh, um, some of the fight scenes I liked. I liked the fight scenes. Some of them were cool. Um, and I liked some of the drama on it, but I felt like it was just like it didn't fit well. And so let me get to. Oh, I liked uh the space witches. Like I thought like at first I was like, like I didn't I heard people talk about it and I seen it before I watched it. And then I was like, okay, I like what was it? Asani? Asani or something like that. Like I liked her. I never issue with her much. I was like, well, I had issues, but like overall I was like, okay, this ain't that bad cuz my thing is like there's aliens, there's all kind of other stuff, lightsabers, all this stuff, but this doesn't make sense. Nobody off in the force is doing this sort of thing, like with the force and stuff. Nobody is doing this. Okay, all right, okay, this is just too much. So I was like, yeah, some of those complaints about that. I was like, come on, really? This is just y'all being sensitive. So it's not like people aren't doing these things. It's not like there ain't nobody on the planet doing this. So that wasn't my problem. My problem was a lot of like stuff that just didn't make sense. Like so starting out, May is going to kill Matrix woman. I forgot her name already. I could come some mother something. Um, the lady from the Matrix. She's going to kill lady from the Matrix. It's like okay, whatever. And they think that OSHA did it. So OSHA did it. And then the next episode, they explain, but it was like, oh well, she got a sister, and this other person looked like her, so it wasn't her. And I was just like, there was nothing that was, and that should have been the first sign bullshit to me. Like they explained it, but it just wasn't. It wasn't like she was locked up until we figure out whatever. No, she's like, oh well, homeboy's like, oh she dead, her sister. It couldn't be his sister. She dead, but it's somebody. And it's it looked like her. Oh, she didn't kill him, and it's like he just got absolved of everything pretty daggone quick, right? And I'm just like, okay, uh, all right. The other thing that got me was um oh man, I can barely see that. Don't know what that said right there. Let me see. My thing will show, and then it won't show comments, and I'm just like, okay, that's silly as heck. Um so I'm not trying to ignore folks. It's just it doesn't pop up the way it should. But so what I also didn't get was like she, sh I didn't know who the main character was. I knew who the main character was. It was like it's supposed to be Osha, but it was like you're telling all of these stories, and I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Okay, is Soul the main character? And I remember most of these names because I just watched it yesterday. Is Soul the main character? Is Osha the main character? It's May the main character. It like what like, and I understand everybody's like I understand everybody's stuff is entangled and everything, but it's like May went to go kill Corbin, right? And I look at like Torben is sitting there days he ain't said nothing for 10 years and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, so you go to kill him, you punching on him, and you can't touch him. I'm like, okay, okay, that makes sense. Then the dude is like, hey, um, stranger guy is like, hey, you have to give him the absolution and this and that, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. So she goes back. She gets the poison from this guy. Goes back and Torben stops floating, sits down, and drinks the poison. May, I've been waiting for you. You know? And my thing is this: why, if you knew and you were waiting for her to come, you knew it was her because she was already talking to you. You're sitting there. Why didn't you just let her stab you or nothing? If you wanted to die, you could just let her kill you. It didn't. I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, this is dumb. This is stupid. Why would they? This doesn't make sense. She pow. Okay, can't do it. She, pow. Elbow pow. Yeah, pow. Another elbow pow. Another elbow pow. Punch, punch, kick. Then a few minutes later, she come back about 10 minutes later. I know it wasn't 10 minutes later, but movie time. All right, movie time. But she come back later and it's like, oh, I was waiting for you, and she was just here trying to kill you. What? What? Okay. All right. Okay. Whole time, OSHA just doing stuff. OSHA is just there, just doing shit. Like, I'm like, okay, so OSHA there was not, OSHA was just there. Because the whole time thinking, I'm like, okay, I understand. Like, I'm watching, she was Jedi, didn't, she wanted to be a Jedi, this and whatever, came in mech neck, was Jedi, was a apprentice, all this stuff. He was a kid. They go back and they show, hey, I want to be a Jedi. I want to be all of this and that. And and I'm like, okay. The whole time there was nothing to really show that she had any kind of drive to do any of this stuff. She was about to leave after she was like, she told what was it, Jackie, that she was gonna leave and was just like, yeah, I'm out. Okay. And he was like, oh, you want me to come with you? Oh, well, eh. She was just there, just floating. It was like whatever somebody told her to do, she was just there. She was just doing whatever they told her to do. And she didn't have no real objective, anything. And so I'm gonna jump around because I want to kind of stay on the thoughts that I'm on. Uh she's after her sister, then she's not after her sister. She's with Soul, then she's not with Soul. She's with her whatever. Then she's with other homeboy, then she's not with other homeboy. And what is with these dudes? Like, what was that? Didn't get no real explanation for why. Like Soul and like the Stranger Guy, there was no real explanation for why they wanted Padawans. Like they just want, hey, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta help these girls. I gotta do this stuff because they in danger. The whole time I'm like, dude, come on, really? This some old weird shit. Like, dude, you're not telling why they in danger. You're not doing anything. Boy, I gotta help them because they in danger. I think, man, that's some, sound like Democrats trying to help black folks. They in danger. We gotta do this stuff for. We gotta take them away from. Oh God. And I'm just like, it's like, and then and I understand. I don't. I understand that you would want a Padawan so you can teach them and stuff, but I don't understand why they made them so gung ho on it. So and then people say, well, in the second season, so well they should have explained it in the first season. Dude is dead. They should have explained it in the first season. They basically made Soul the main character. And so you find out that even with like Corbin and stuff, the dude that was just floating and then drank poison, even though he wanted to die, but May was there to kill him in the first place, and he could have just did it then, and she could have stabbed him. But you know, he was basically like, "I want to go home," but he was like, he was on the planet, whatever, board or something, something, and and planet with the trees, planet with the witches, and he was like, "We got to go home, and I got to get up out of here." When it got to the witch part, I was like, "Okay, whatever." That didn't really bother me too much. But what seemed weird to me was like when they showed the stuff uh with May and OSHA after they were going to do was it the Vergence or the Convergence thing or whatever, and then because OSHA had Black Mama that kind of created her with the Force stuff, I guess, and then the little alien Mama that carried her, and I didn't care about that. That was okay. That's cool. I ain't got no beef with that. But it's like you did this, and then the mother was like, "Well, if you ain't gonna let her," they showed a flashback, and it's like, "If you ain't gonna let her, um, if you don't want her to leave, you got to make her stay or whatever." And they're showing it was weird. Like they're showing that the little girl started the fire. Her twin May started the fire that killed everybody, and then they basically was like, "Yo, the Jedi's were behind a lot of stuff because nobody was talking because nobody was saying anything. They just back and forth, which I can kind of understand, but it seemed a little dumb too. But what seemed weird for me after I watched all of it, I was like, wait, so May as a child said, "You're not going to leave. You're going to stay." And Osha's like, "No, I want to leave. I want to be a Jedi." She was like, "I'm going to make you stay." You're like, "How you going to do that?" "I'm going to kill you." And then she starts a fire. She starts the fire, and then everything else messes up. And I'm like, okay, okay. But they clearly show the little girls like, "I'm going to kill you. How you going to stop me? I can kill you, or I'm going to kill you." And then towards the end, they show that she lights the fire, and she's trying to put it out. Then she throws it down, and then she lights the fire with the book, Osha's book. She throws it down, and everything mistakenly catches on fire. And she's like, "Oh my God, everything is bad. I gotta go help. Mama. I set the fire and I gotta put it out. And I didn't mean to." Like that was the way they played it. You just had May tell her that she was gonna kill her. Like, and then May busted all the stuff so nobody couldn't get out, which is I can kind of understand that. Like, yo, we're gonna get these Jedi's in here and we're gonna bust them upside the head. What was the point if you were gonna play the whole um she started the fire on accident? Why would you have her tell her like, "I'm gonna kill you"? what? Like I was like that doesn't. And I understand like children just saying shit, just being over dramatic. Like maybe that's what it is, right? But I'm like, that didn't make sense to me because then you try to play it like the fire was started by accident. Like she lit the fire and it was like, oh shit, oh, the room's on fire. But you just told her that you were, and they played it where it's like, hey, I just did this. I didn't mean to do none of this. Well, why did you have her say that she was gonna kill her sister? Like, I'm gonna kill you. I was like, I can lock you in here. You could have said anything other than I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, what? Like, what? What? So I'm looking at it. I'm like, that was just stupid. Like, so you so you wasn't gonna kill her, and you just locked. Okay, that's fine. But what was the point of that? And it leads into some other stuff I'm going into. So I'm just like, yo, what is this? And then like even with the stranger guy, I'm like, okay, this cool, whatever. I like the helmet thing and that he had. I liked it, right? Like I liked it. But it seemed a little stupid. Like that, I liked that he was headbutting it because he had this material that could short circuit lightsabers for a couple seconds or whatever. That was cool. That was cool. Like looking at it, it was cool. Story wise, it was dumb as hell. Like this is before what the stuff in the old movies like what um was between I forgot where it was between from, but it's before some of the stuff with Luke and them, right? Or even Ford in general, and all the other games that then came after and everything. There was nobody. There was no other Jedi's or nobody that got nothing like that. There was no Jedi's that had that. There was no other Sith that had nothing like that. That was like, hey, let me short circuit these lightsabers. There was nobody else that had that. So a little small lore gripe thing right there. It was like, okay. And it was like, and then like taking shots from like um the Marvel thing. They show up and they show Yoda and then like the Plagueis guy and stuff. But it's like, okay, what are they there for? Oh my, it's like, oh my God, they there. It's like, why? Okay, so who cares? Um, and then what else was it? Uh, again, um, what like the little creature guy was weird because his Basil, the little dude that did the sniffing, it was like what was going on to where one minute this dude is on he's on the Jedi side and he's like May, I sniffed her out. Then he's helping May. Then I'm like, what is going on? And it's like so it's like they doing one thing, then something else is going on. Then they doing another thing, then something else is going on. May is whatever with Stranger getting away from him, then she's after Soul. Then Soul is after her, then she's running after Soul. Then she and I'm like, what? And it's like OSHA gets Stranger, then she with the Stranger. There's that, and then like it was just a bunch of all over the place stuff. Then the other thing that was weird to me was like, um, uh, Soul pokes the mother. He kills the mother, and it's like she scares him, and he turns. And he's like, "Well, bye." And it's like nobody says anything. Like if the mother is trying to help the kids or something, she's not like, "Hey, or I'm trying to help my people. We we gotta I gotta do something real quick." It's just he just turns, pokes her dead. And I'm just like, okay, oh, okay. And then the other one does it. And what else? The other thing was weird was like they talked about how all of the witches, they were strong, they were this and that. And it's like, how did this one Jedi person, when they try to take over the Wookiee Jedi, she gets in there, one person just gets in there and knocks down all these witches, and then all of them are just dead. They're just all dead. She just gets in there and with the force just kills all of them. I'm like, wait, that was it? Like, what? That's how you killed all of them. Y'all would have did better if you just had them come through and start hitting them with lightsabers. Like they should have just went the Anakin route and just had him going there, knocking off heads. I was like, this is a little weird. The Jedi, the other guy, the stranger guy, he was cool. Everything he was cool, but they didn't do no kind of real explaining with him. And the gist of it is looking like that he was uh the ch- the the female Jedi that was with the markings. I was gonna say green, but it looked like she was green. But I'm colorblind, so she could have been something else. But it looked like she was green. Um, and it looked like it might have been her student or something. But he just like, I just want to do stuff, and it's like, okay, you the main guy, and again, like Soul, he like, man, I gotta get an apprentice. Why? Like, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? So they find out, and again, I'm hopping all over the place. Uh, find out that May and Osha are like one person and all this other stuff, and it's like, okay, that's not bad, but okay, what was the point? And 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 then they show that like some of the stuff with the Force was wild on this one because it's like one Force user can blow through all kind of um other witch Force using witches that are controlling a Wookiee, and one Force user can blow through them, but then this force user can hold up two bridges with two little girls on it, but you couldn't use the force to tell the other girl to jump and you push her over or something like ah! So oh okay, okay, okay. And that's a gripe that could have been whatever, right? That's whatever. Then so some stuff going on, they fight in the woods and now another thing, like, well, how did the force user guy, the stranger guy, they threw the light on his back, right? They threw the light on his back, and he's a whole force user. He just showed that he can force push all kind of people away. He didn't force push none of the creature things that took him away just because the plot needed the plot and they needed him to be out the way for a little bit. It was like, okay, but that didn't make sense. I just watched him force push and push up all that red dust and everything and mess up a lot of them that some of them just stayed down and just killed all of them. He couldn't kill these bug things. He couldn't do that. Now suddenly I was like, okay, that's a little goofy, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just hating. And so then Osha, no, May switches clothes with Osha. She, and this isn't chronological either. This is just me jumping on, just talking about stuff, just ranting and talking about stuff. So like, okay, th- she switched clothes, she cut her hair, and now it's her. Now she's May. And mind you, May done killed two Jedi already, almost three, almost three. The stranger killed the Wookiee one. She done killed three. I mean two, not three, two. Um, uh, May goes off. No, Osha goes off, and she's with the stranger guy, and so she gets in his helmet. She sees some stuff and everything, and I'm just like, okay, this is whatever. Now you, and she's like, I'm not easily swayed. Negro, you've been swayed this whole show. You had no drive for anything. You were just there. You were just doing stuff time, the whole time. And it seemed wild how um magically everything that was going on was like everything just switched. Like when they switched, when she put her hair and whatever, like the she reset the droid. She knew how to do everything with the droid and stuff, and it was just like, "What? Okay, so you a force user, but you use the force sometimes, but you can't use the force to get out of." And I was like, okay, this makes perfect sense. Um, she goes and she ends up rocking with the stranger, Osha, the main one. ends up rocking with the stranger guy. At the end, they basically switch positions. And Osha goes with the stranger, same position that her sister was in. And the sister forgets everything and she goes with the what you call it. Because the stranger just magically just with the force and just you don't remember nothing. And I was like, okay, hmm. But here's my thing. There was no accountability for anything in that show. There was no accountability for nothing. May and Osha just did whatever, just floated through. Oh, May killed two people. Nothing happened. Like she just well, I just lost my memory and now I don't. OSHA floated between God knows what, and there was no point with anything where she made a solid decision on her own. It was just a bunch of stuff where she did some stuff happened, like, well, this happened, so I'm mad about this, well, I'm going this way. Well, this happened, so I'm mad about this, so I'm going this way. This happened, so now I'm confused and I'm mad about this, so I'm going this way. Like the lady had no kind of she didn't have her own will at all in this show. So much so that, like I said, I didn't know who the main character was, and that's the thing that kind of bothered me. Like there was no accountability for anything. They got in all this mess, and then they were just out. They were in it, they were out, and that's what bothered. Like I now you can call it whatever you want to, but I've realized that with a lot of these shows, and this is why I didn't um when it comes they talk about like women in shows and they have no they're not putting them through anything. One of the things one of let me jump around a little bit. Let me calm down. Let me slow down because my mind is all over the place again. On Aliens Romulus, that was the thing that kind of got me. Like the main character, I was like, I don't even think she got don't remember and y'all can comment, but I don't even remember her getting no kind of real like serious injury or nothing. I was like, there was nothing that really happened to her. She fought, but there was nothing that happened to her. May, I think Osha got messed up a little bit, but there was nothing that happened. It was just like, well, everything was good, and I just kind of got out of this. I remember this, and I remember it standing out to me, and I felt like it was a white woman thing in movies and stuff, to where they do things and then nobody they just out of it. Like I remember watching Weeds. I remember I would watch Weeds, and I felt like the main character, like this white woman would get in some of the dumbest shit. She would just selling drugs, just being the dumbest stuff, and somehow she would always end up married to somebody with money. And then just be out of it, and then she out of it, and I'm like, yo, that's it. There was nothing. There was nothing. You didn't go through nothing. You didn't really get hurt. Not everybody else got messed up, and you just out. It's just like you just out because we want her to go on to something else. Yo, there's no accountability, no nothing for this, and I feel like that with main characters too, anybody. But just when y'all start complaining about and when you're start when there's women in these action fantasy things that they know a lot of men watch, and then they just don't. There's no accountability, no nothing, and then you expect when we watch the men get shot, stabbed, all this other stuff, and they have to go through something. But then we see it where you're not putting these women through nothing. It's like, okay, and that was the part of the that was part of the dumb shit with She-Hulk. It's like it's just stupid. There's nothing going on here. There's just a bunch of goofy mess, and nobody's accountable for nothing. And and that's why I think why for me, um, Sarah Connor stands out as a good one. It's like, yo, Sarah got put through the ringer. It was like she was shot, stabbed, cased, all kind of stuff, and she's still finding out how to get through it. And that's the thing again, like with black thing. This character doesn't connect to anybody because you're not putting them through anything. They're not getting any kind of um they're not overcoming any kind of adversity, anything. He's just there and you throw a black skin on him. That's why I liked the young lady, I forgot her name, from Fallout. man, I like that girl got put through it on Fallout. That girl got put through it. And so it's like yo, if they in these worlds where all this stuff is happening and everything, like they need to be put through it, just like everybody else. Put through it. Let them get shot, stabbed, fingers cut off. Everything else, just like them dudes. We all in this together. It can happen to you too. And for me, that's what made Fallout stand out because I'm like, yo, she trying to these people still are shooting her. They still stabbing her, cutting off her fingers, selling her into stuff and stuff, and she's still trying to be herself. But she's noticing, hey, I gotta change up. I gotta switch these things up, and I gotta adjust a little bit. I'm trying to be golden rule and everything. This is how you should act. But she noticing that what she was taught ain't really what it is. And then she finally realized it at the end and it bothers her. And I would have felt the same way. But whole time I'm like, homegirl is adjusted, but she having a hard time. And I appreciated that about her. Watching Sarah Connor like through the Terminator movies, it was always like, man, this mama, they is putting her through it. She don't know who to trust. She getting shot, she getting poked, she getting stabbed, she getting jacked up, she getting thrown out of stuff, ran and chased down. She don't know if the person is real, she don't know if they are Terminator. And then she's still like, yo, I gotta have this baby, but then I gotta protect this baby and get this baby to whatever. And then even with the they had to show that Sarah Connor Chronicles. And I thought she was cool then because they was still putting her through it. And my thing is like transition that to the black character with like May and Osha. I was like, yo, what is going on? Like there was no kind of everybody just well, mm, it's fine now. It was just fine at the end. It's fine now. You didn't pay for none of the people that you killed and stuff. And Sarah Connor was getting chased down by the police because she was a murderer. They had her face all plastered on everything, all kind of stuff. Homegirl doing stuff on Fallout getting chased around like, oh, you was one and this and that. Oh, you got this, and people is coming at you. Making them kill people and stuff at the end is just, you good now. What? What? Okay. On aliens, Romulus, that was a big issue with me. I'm like, nothing. And I asked my daughters and my friends, like, did anything physically like really like hurt her? Did she just made it through? Like Andy got tossed, busted up, throat slit, all kind of stuff. I think he did. And I was like, yo, man, like, did anything like I know she fought and the alien was like, but I'm like, she didn't I don't think I could be wrong. You can correct me. I don't think she came out with like no real injury or nothing. It's like, yo, man, that's what made like that new Tomb Raider, that's what made that one interesting too. Cause they put Laura Croft through some mess. The way she would die and stuff is like, yo, this is rough. But it's a thing where it's like, okay, so if we equal, then we need to be having the same stuff happen. My man Akil was talking about like wrestling and stuff. And I recently seen that talk about those intergender matches. And for me, I feel like with wrestling like WWE, AEW and stuff, I want to see some more women world champions. And my reason for that is because wrestling is fake. We all know fake as in scripted, not fake as in you not taking this bump, you not jumping off of stuff. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the theater side of the fights. They're fake. Um, and I don't want to say fake. They're scripted. They're scripted and scripted to a point where it's like, okay, I have these set of moves. You have these set of moves. We're gonna combine them. We're gonna do certain things. We're gonna let you get your stuff off. We get my stuff off, and we hit it, and we put on this show for people. All that's fine, but I wanted to see more because of the nature of the shows. I don't see why there's not more women world champions. Why this isn't happening? It's stupid to me because I don't feel like if somebody messes up and hits a woman, it's going to be any different than if a woman hits a woman and they botch it and mess it up. You're going to be messed up. If the woman hits you and they botch a certain move, you're messed up. If a man hits you and he botch a certain move, you messed up. If a man hits another man or they do something and they botch something, it's messed up. And there's ways that you can creatively make it to where these women are beating this man, whether it's with speed, certain move sets that we know they can't do. Like Nia Jax might be able to do certain things to men that other ones can't. So you play with their body types and stuff and you make it a thing. But there should be women world champions, like straight up to me. to me in wrestling. I think that you could play it and you can make it really creative with these stories about how these women will beat these men because it would look cool. It's all theater, right? Um, but if you're just playing it where they're not going through anything and they're not being put through the same stuff that the men are being put through, then it lessens who the characters are. And I feel like that's kind of what happened overall with not so much with Alien because it was a little bit it was balanced a little bit, but balanced a little bit better. But with uh Acolyte, like OSHA and them, they just floating around. She's just floating. Well, I wanted to be a Jedi. Well, I wasn't Jedi. Well, this and that. When I was this and that. Well, I was, I'm a Sith. Well, I'm a Jedi. Well, I don't know what's this and that. I can't help my sister. I can't help my sister. Come on, OSHA. Okay, I'm going. Come on, OSHA. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm a little upset. What you doing? Hey, I'm with you now. It's just not knowing who the main character is. And so you put a black face on it, but you don't do the black face no kind of justice. And I feel like that's another thing. That's another thing with these like Star Wars and stuff. I feel like that they just kind of doing stuff with these black characters. Like Star Wars just be doing black characters miserable. Like Finn got done dirty. They, they put and Finn and John Boyega was acting his ass off too. Did him dirty. This new character, May and Osha, just put him in there and did some dumb stuff with him. Just dumb. And it's like you consistently doing dumb stuff with these black characters. And I feel like with Star Wars, especially with the Jedi stuff, when it comes to the movies and stuff and everything, they have a hard time if they can't copy and paste. Meaning, the first three were Luke and stuff, okay. The second set, okay. Whatever. Then the next set was basically copy and paste most of the stuff with Luke and them, just change up some stuff. And it's like there's no like they're doing stuff and there's no kind of real anything with the force. Like you lose it, you this and that. Okay, well you ain't been using the force, so now is it emotional? Is it just what's the rules? And my thing is not necessarily what they're doing with it, but how people treat folks. Because here's my thing: if and I'm transitioning a little bit over into like being a creator and stuff like that. You'll watch creators that'll defend all this stuff with their whole chest. They'll defend it with their whole chest. They'll defend the stuff that Marvel, LucasArts, and Star Wars, they'll defend it with their whole chest. Then they'll tell another creator, well, you got to connect with your audience, and you'll tell all of us coming up that you got to connect with your audience. You got to do this and that. But then when you got to make sure they care about your characters and make sure your story makes sense and all of this. Then when they put out stuff, the first thing they do is start defending it. So that's how I know a lot of these creators, they not doing stuff authentically. They're doing things and they're doing and saying things because I always say it, they want jobs. They want jobs. They want to be in the good graces of these companies. So they're gonna go and say anything. You can't believe a creator when they saying certain things. You can't. Because if you're gonna tell other creators that the audience have to connect with your characters. But then when the audience say they watching Marvel or Star Wars and they say, I don't connect with these characters, the first thing you start talking about, you start calling them names and saying, hey, everything under the sun, other than the character was bad and they didn't connect with it. So once you get to a certain level, it's not your fault anymore. It's the audience. But at the bottom, when you coming up and you creating and you writing and you doing stuff, if you don't Um, no, I didn't. Not yet. If you if you don't watch, if you don't go along with what's being said, then oh yeah, send a link to me or something too, and I can watch it. If you don't go along with it, it's not. It's your fault. So again, let me say this over because I stopped and I started reading. So higher up, it's not their fault. They don't have to connect with characters. They don't have to do any of that. Bottom, if you're not selling and people ain't reading your book and stuff the way you like, it's your fault. You're not connecting with them. But after a while, you don't have to. So it's like, what is going on? And it's like, well, if we just throw a little black skin on it, everything gonna be fine. And we show some representation with them, everything gonna be fine. But that's not the case. I don't like these black characters because none of them make sense, and you're not doing them any kind of real justice. Finn, like I said, I told people out the gate after the first one, like he ain't gonna be no Jedi. Well, you gotta wait. And Ray already was doing everything. She was already cruising the forest, doing controlling people and stuff, and Finn wasn't doing none of that. And y'all just well, you okay? Now everybody want to change it up. But when I was saying it out the gate, after I was like, "Nah, he ain't gonna be." You just don't like it. You okay? You just hate. Okay, yeah. All right. So they keep doing these black characters crazy in Star Wars, and everybody and other people too. But I'm just kind of pointing this out. They just it's like put a black skin on it. Black folks backflip and start breakdancing a little bit. And the rest of it we gonna do. We just gonna do. But again, like I said, if they don't have to make characters that make sense and connect with people and stuff, why are you telling me as a creator I have to? And now I'm not saying that you don't, but I'm just talking about the hypocrisy that these people talk that these creators be doing when they come out and they defend and talk crazy about people and call folks all kind of names because they didn't like something, and then they start jumping on this goofy mess. But so that means that you're saying that you can do the same thing with your work. And I'm gonna be honest, you do have to do it. You do have to do it, but not because I'm gonna talk about. For me, it's not a position where it's like, hey, I'm going to talk about these people, and I'm going to talk about how you're all these ists and phobes and incels and all this stuff because you didn't like this thing. No, they didn't do the right thing with having their characters connect to people. They didn't. Star Wars didn't. The Acolyte, I'm looking at it like this is dumb, and I don't even know what's going on. I like the actors, I like where it was going, I like some of the action scenes, but a lot of it was just dumb. And it was like, why is this happening? From the writing side, not necessarily the characters. The story was there. The story could have been cool, but they messed it up, and I'm learning from it. I'm like, yo, man, even with your stuff, I have to clean up what I'm doing, and I have to make sure that it makes sense, and that these characters, no matter what the race of the character is or who the race of the person reading is, they connect to this character. And we do that by not just saying, hey, I used to play with them because they was black. I'm like, no, give this person a good story. Let's give them something that they can connect to with these people and something that people understand. Make sure these themes of these characters, the themes that's going on, connect to the character, and they're going through the processes for these needs and wants that they're trying to get taken care of. And it can go any kind of way. So I think that I don't know what that's telling me. Oh, um, I think that's what's going on with a lot of black characters. They just there's no there's no uh there's no anything. They just slap the skin on and be like, well, there's black people, and then we don't do anything. Like another one that was good was American Fiction. Like I'm seeing the stuff that Monk is going through, and it was just him writing a book and him not wanting to fall into that black person hole and the ghetto stuff. And it's like you'd see all of that, and the person is doing these things, and he's doing his best to try to figure it out. And it's like I'm in between because I need the money to help. Um, I'm doing these things because I got to help my mama and all this other stuff, but I don't want to fall into this this everyday nigga. And it's like and he's dealing with it, and then he's not dealing with it because he has past problems. He's just he's he's off in his own land. He's doing whatever. He's not treating his brother right. And his gay brother was my favorite. Was one of my favorite characters, even though he was wild. And Sterling K. Brown played that amazingly. And it's like I didn't see them as like in watching them. I seen them as people to where they were just doing. They were trying to figure out what was going on, and so I feel like a lot of these, and that's what like feel like Denzel gets with a lot of his characters when it's like you're watching, and even Will Smith to a certain degree. It's like you're watching these characters and you see them as black and stuff, but like on the Equalizer films, I was like I watched them and I loved the Equalizer films because it was like this character has these specific beliefs and he went through these certain things, and I'm doing this to help people because of what happened to me, but I'm gonna knock your head off. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And I respect it not because he was black, but because the way he moved in the world. No matter where he was at, he stood on these beliefs, and these were and he was going to help whoever he could, however he could, and I respected that. So it's like I don't see these characters just man, this black dude to do this and that. Even with like Asian films, I connected with Michelle Yeoh in a lot of her movies, whether it was the cop movies, the was it Operation Condor too? Jackie Chan. I didn't care what they were. I didn't care if they were Asian, they was whatever. Like, oh no, I understand that. One of the things that always helped me connect with Jackie Chan was the fact that when Jackie Chan fought, it was always a thing where he would show that it hurt. It was like, okay, I hit this person or I hit them in certain spots and it hurt. So it's like, okay, I got this soft hand, I hit him in the hard spot. Ow, that hurts. These are things that I'm watching as I'm growing up and I'm watching, or I'm watching certain stories where, okay, there's a father or son and he has to go help the parents fight this kingdom of people in some mystical or whatever Chinese land and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. I want to help my family. I want to do these things. I understand these things. So I've never I identify with them, not because they just black or what people like to say people of color, but because I'm like, yo, I feel you on that. Um I would try to help my family and stuff too. And there's like one of the movies that popped up years ago was it 2001, 1999, 2000, something like that, was a Storm Rider movie. I don't even fully remember everything, but I remember one had like fire and ice and all of a sudden them brothers and they were fighting into all this stuff. And that was one of the first like superpower movies that not one of the first, but that was one of the ones that really stood out to me. And I was like, man, I love these guys. I love this movie. And so it was never a thing, and it's called Storm Riders. Watch it. Watch Storm Riders if you have it. And I connected with them dudes. Another one, Leon on Resident Evil 4. Oh my God. Resident Evil 4 came out and it caught me off guard because it was like I didn't had been working, I was moving, I was getting my first apartment car and everything, and I never got to really catch up on when the next Resident Evil was coming out. Four came out, bought it on the GameCube. I started playing. Like, okay, so it's Leon. I remember Leon from two and everything. And I'm playing, and we going through whatever with Leon, and he's going through everything. And Leon's like, I don't know what's happening, and I automatically like on two, I didn't Leon was whatever on two. For me, it was just like he was whatever. But on four, my God, I was like Leon's reaction was my reaction to everything. Like, yo, what is happening? I'm running around. I'm trying to figure out what I was like, this ain't regular Resident Evil. And even Leon is like, yo, this ain't no regular zombie shit. And the whole time, everything that he was going through, I was going through as well. I related to Leon. I saw it was like I was Leon. And so feel like this whole you used to be black and this you used it because they black. No, 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 no. If they put a black character in there and he was going through the same things, I would probably rock with him. I liked the girl in Five, even though people didn't like her. I think that was mainly because of AI, but I liked her, Aisha, whatever her name was. I liked her. I never had a problem with her. And I wanted to play with her character more, but it was just by the time I beat it, I wasn't going back through it again. But it doesn't matter what the race is. You make it whatever. If they don't connect with the person, if they don't connect with the reader, and you just thinking, well, I'm gonna put them in there because they black, and I'm gonna make black characters, and you going man, they better connect with them readers and stuff, and you better make it to where this story is telling this person something, and not just well, they black heroes. And again, I've messed up and done it myself too. Never again will I do it. I'm like, you see that I'm black. You see that my character is black. We ain't got to talk no more about it. like I don't really have to talk about it. You see that my character is black. You see that I'm drawing black stuff. It's nothing to really harp on. But is the story good? Is this a coming of age story that people can connect to? What kind of adversity is this character overcoming? Because I'm seeing even with female characters, I'm seeing the girl in Fallout overcome adversity. Then I'm watching Homegirl and Acolyte, the black girl and Acolyte, just kind of go through it and nothing happens, and you know, you just go, I'm watching Sarah Connor do these things, but then oh, black one that was right to me was Homegirl on what's Sanaa Lathan's character on Alien versus Predator. Like I remember watching it and I was like, okay. First it was like, okay, she black. But then I noticed how she was handling herself and how she was handling herself around the predators, the things she went through and stuff. And then the predators show love because she connected with them. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And they marked her and then they never brought her back. I wish they would have brought her character back. That was cool. And then even on even on what? Prey. And I still believe the girl on Prey was the issue. She was the villain in the movie. It's like all because of her family. But she did her thing. She did whatever. But it was like I'm not gonna necessarily use her. It was cool. It was whatever. The movie was cool. But I feel like she was the villain. She was the villain. She was just messing with that predator. Leave him alone. Why you messing with him? You done brought disrespect and death onto your people, all because you wanted to go mess with the predator. So I believe that if we and then it's like and a lot of it start getting into tokenism. Like if it's solely relatable because of their skin color, we start doing stuff because that's what I felt. Man, I finally watched that blackening movie, and I was like, this mess is too do. Like, and most of the stuff, I was like, this is some of the most lame shit that like the blackening was not good to me. It was not good. It was like that's part of that. Hey, it's black, so let's just throw it in there, and we gonna borderline make it tokenism. Like, yo, man, black people, black. This is why I appreciate Jordan Peele stuff, even if you don't fully understand it, because it can have some funny stuff. But horror with black people, it's a joke, and it's like, and it's always something. These white people do this and that, and then I got some racist white people, and it's like, oh god, okay, here we go. It was just a little. I have to talk about that later, but it borderlines if it's purely just black people, this and that. No, no, no. Make sure the story is good, and then we can make them black or whatever. But this black people clown show, and it's like, no, black people got more to offer than that, and the world wants to see it too. But if you ain't doing nothing where nobody can connect to it, you might as well call it a daggone day. I could be wrong. Y'all can feel however you feel about it and let me know. I ain't mad at you. But again, go to akachicomics.com and get the first chapter of Void Beast and Extraordinary Messiah. I got them up there for free. It's the Extraordinary Messiah because I'm doing whatever with the animanga right now. You can get that first one for free. Just download and all that good stuff. But yeah,